Oh my gosh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get a little bit of a shadow.
I was born in Clearwater, Florida, November 4th, 1938. Clearwater, Florida, small coastal town. I never realized how small it was until I had come back from the service years later. My mother and father, Oscar and Mary Hendrick. I have two sisters. I'm the oldest. My sister Jan is 2 years younger than I am, and then Rachel, she's the baby. She's 6 years younger than I am. My father is a shoemaker, and my mother was she was the old-time mother that stayed at home, a stay-at-home mother. My father had a very good business, and between the two of them, they invested in local real estate. Okay, on my mother's side, they were Italian immigrants. So on my father's side, they were also immigrants. For my grandmother, she was from Czechoslovakia. She came to this country as an indentured servant, and that was in North Dakota. She was supposed to stay for a year or something like that, and she did. My grandfather, Paul Hendrick, he was from Yugoslavia. He was a shoemaker. He learned the trade in Vienna. He got a job with the railroads. They were building the railroads through Louisiana. Now, he was young. He was only 16 years old. So the matchmaker said, I think he would be a good husband. So anyway, she said, buchke, buchke, which means foolishness. She says, I take care of this family. She says, that's my job. She says, I'm not interested in getting married. She found out that my grandmother was a saver. She didn't spend money. My grandfather, on the other hand, the matchmaker found out that my grandmother had saved about $200. About $200 in the bank. And so she went back to my grandfather, Paul, and she said, you know, this Czech girl, she works taking care of that family, and she also saves her money. And my grandfather said, I'm not interested. I'm really not interested. The matchmaker, very knowledgeable, knew how to cut corners, and said, well, you know, she has about $200 in the bank saved. And my grandfather stopped doing what he was doing. He turned around, put his suspenders up on his, and he said, I'll be there Sunday. So for $200, that was our beginning. So I'm walking down the hall. There's this big photo of a Marine in dress blues. He was a World War II vintage, and I just looked at that and I was mesmerized by it. The uniform, the person himself, and I just kind of, like a magnet, I was just drawn in, and there, the recruiter, he looked like he had just come off of the picture. And so he signed me up for 4 years, and the last education that I had was on my 17th birthday. Once I met Eileen, I knew, or thought I knew, that she was my mate. She was the one. And you reflect later on, what are your contributions? You know, what makes this now we're talking about family, and what makes this work, and how are your children affected by it? She had something to give to the kids, and I had something to give to the kids. She was an educator. She got them reading early on, and they loved reading. Her contribution was education, and they developed a personality through her, and mine was a work ethic. And they picked up on both things. Emotionally, I was never
Take your time. You don't even have to answer it if you don't want to right now.
Yeah,
You can kind of chew it over.
well, anyway, there's a lot I can't explain.
Yeah.
So that's all right.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Good work. We had laughter. We had joy. We had
Right.
memories of growing up. We got the story about the $200 that started the Hendrick legacy.
How the what?
The $200 bride.
Oh,
came
from
with her.
grandparents. Oh, you went back to that history. Good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's an interesting
The
background.
price of legacy, yeah.
And
and the 3, 2 and the 4 and the 5 and the 6.
On 3.
Oh, 1 and a 2 and a 3.
And go.
Don't throw her out. She's been with the family for years.
Wasabi.
To